Hi everyone, it's Leilani. Welcome back to my channel. So today, friends, we're doing a bit of a different video to kind of go in line with my craft room cleanup videos that I've been putting out. I wanted to do a video specifically working on organizing my stamps, my clear stamps. So as you can see, I have just piles and piles of clear stamps here. So what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to organize them by theme. So we're just going to roughly start putting them into piles here. I do have multiple different size stamps, so we're going to deal with that as the video goes on. So I'm just going to kind of show you a lot of the stamps that I have, try to put them into different stacks. I also have one stack that I kind of had off camera, and that one is some that I'm going to also donate. So a lot of these stamps I've acquired over time, either through kit subscriptions. I know some of the smaller ones came from Citrus Twist way back in the day, or a lot of them, of course, I've picked up here and there. And I've had a lot of amazing crafty friends send me stamps. So I've just ended up with a ton of them. And I love to stamp, and I love clear stamps so much. But I honestly, as much as I do like organizing things in my life, I have not organized my crafty supplies nearly as good as I should have over all these years. And my stamps have never been properly organized ever the whole time that I've had them. So the only thing that I really ever did with them is I have a little Lazy Susan kind of desk thingy where I keep different like scissors and my Dymo label maker, my mega date stamp, things like that. And so all around it, it has these little kind of pockets, these little areas where they do fit the clear stamps really well. So a lot of the clear stamps that I would grab for more often, I would put in that area. But I still had to dig through. I still had no clue what was really over there. And then if you guys were watching my latest craft room cleanup video, you'll notice that I had a ton of stamps. They were just kind of thrown into this big bin. And then I had bought a few of these plastic organizers that fit onto my 13 by 13 cubes, and they had little drawers that would pull out, which I was really excited to use. So at first I just kind of threw my stamps in there because by the end of that video, I was tired. I could only do so much in that particular video in that one session. But as I was kind of thinking about how I wanted to further organize my stamps, I also had a couple comments from a few of you guys mentioning that you would put them in like little organizers where you could put tabs in there to say the theme and everything of the stamps and kind of keep them further organized. And I thought, yeah, that's what I've seen a ton over the crafty community. Why don't I do that? Like, I don't know why that didn't pop into my mind. I think I was just like overwhelmed with everything in that particular day. So I decided that I would use a few of these clear, like longer clear bins that I have. I had a couple of them already, and then I picked up a couple more whenever I was out and about. And I thought that I would try to organize all of my stamps in those bins. They're not absolutely ideal. They could be a little wider and they would fit everything perfectly, but I already have them, and for what I need, I felt like they would work out good enough. So I'm happy to be doing this today, and I think that it's really going to help me out and that I'll be able to use a lot of these stamps a lot more than I currently do. So for the most part, I would say I use probably like 5% of these, maybe 10%. I just grab out the same stamps over and over, and those are the ones that I tend to use. But I have a lot of them here that I would really like to use. A lot of these smaller ones would be absolutely perfect for Project Life as well. So I am excited to have them in a little bit of a better place. So right now, as I mentioned before, I'm just simply putting them into piles. So I have two different sizes going on at this time though, because I originally had a lot of these smaller ones. I have these like mini stamp stamp sets that are maybe like 3x4s or something. They're really small, and a lot of those came from Citrus Twist back in the day. But then I have a lot of this particular size here that's more like a 4x6. So I'm going to put those into two separate containers as we go. So I'm going to further my organizing as we continue the video. I also have a few larger stamp sets as well that are maybe more like a sheet of paper size, and those are going to all go together as we go on. So right here, I just am simply taking some regular cardstock. And so it's a little bit thicker than just the computer paper, but just regular cardstock. And I just cut it roughly, you know me, no measuring here. I just cut it roughly the correct size of the plastic bin. And then I'm going to start to organize. So at first I just start to place my different themes into this bin, but I started to think, you know what? I'm going to have trouble remembering what themes I have and like where to find everything. So then I thought I should probably put it in alphabetical order. So at this point, I'm going to pull out a sheet of paper and I'm going to write down all of my themes for like this middle size, like the 4x6 kind of size here. And I'm going to write them down and then put them in alphabetical order before I really get into organizing. So I think I cut a few things out, but right now I'm just writing them down, not in alphabetical order. I'm just writing down any of the themes that I see. So of course I have a lot of the typical ones. I have daily stamps that I thought just kind of, then maybe they have the days of the week on them, or they kind of go with the theme of like project life, daily life, that sort of thing. Also currently ones, which I love. So those actually have the words currently on them or words that went along with doing a currently update. Then media/rating. So a lot of books and different movies, TV shows, things like that. Those are like my favorite ones. I had Christmas and other holidays, a couple seasonal stamps. I have like cute words, which are words that are more like fanciful. Maybe some of them have like speech bubbles around them, things like that. And then just regular tiny words. There were some devoted to friends and home and crafty ones or work-related ones, all kinds. So at this point, I'm just putting the different dividers in there. They're not labeled yet. I'm just putting the dividers and putting the stamps in order. So I did have Disney ones in here. And then I realized that I had a lot of those smaller Disney stamps from Social Paper Plan that I absolutely love. I put those in here. So this is where I'm going to start kind of differentiating towards the two different sizes. So this one will have just a little bit bigger ones. So this is where I was saying that this container, if it was just a little bit wider, I could have turned all of these stamps on their side, and then I would be able to see my dividers with my little tabs a little bit easier. But I'm just going to go with the containers that I already have. I don't want to purchase anything new. But so these have to stand upright. I hope that makes sense. They have to stand upright so they kind of block my divider. But at the end of the day, it's still really easy to flip through. They're still very organized, and that's going to work out just fine for me. So I'm going to set that one to the side for a minute. And then I'm essentially going to do the same thing for these smaller ones. So I'm going to have a different organizer. I'm going to start to put all of these smaller stamps into piles, and then I'm going to start writing them down too. So a lot of these are going to be those same themes, but we're just going to put them in order. So you're going to see some up close of these stamps as well. So a lot of these here that I just showed, those are definitely the Citrus Twist ones. And they're really, really nice stamps. They're super tiny, but they're so cute. They have tiny little phrases on them. A lot of great everyday stamps, a lot of like positive, good day kind of vibes, and a lot of travel ones as well, which I really love. So, so as we're doing this, I'll just kind of chit chat with you guys for a few minutes, but I've really been enjoying getting some of my spaces in my craft room further organized. It's really been nice. And I don't know what I've been doing this whole time, but I have not been as organized. Like I had so many layers of junk drawers and of hidden junk in here that I think all of us can easily, get to sometimes. And that's how I felt. Like it might have looked tidy, but I feel like underneath it all, it really wasn't very organized. So with doing the couple craft room, crafty organizing videos that I did over here, and then also working on kind of these more, these smaller areas that need help, like the stamps. And I have a couple other ideas. So I think I might pop videos up from time to time working on a few other smaller areas if you guys like this kind of thing. I feel like it's fun to put on an organizing video when you need that type of inspiration if you want to organize something. So I might kind of try to do that. I did grab, if you guys did watch that previous video, I did grab a couple more of those like bigger organizers with the drawers that I was talking about earlier. I did grab a couple more of those from Target. So I think I have 4 in total, and I really like them because I like that the drawer pulls all the way out and I could bring the drawer with me to my desk. So in my previous video, I had one for Happy Mail, but I just had to like stuff everything into that organizer because I didn't have like enough space. So I definitely want to go through my cards, my stamps, postcards, stationery envelopes, things like that, and further organize those into some of those drawers. And I had a few other ideas too. I thought maybe washi and other like adhesives and things like that, like tools and stuff. So be on the lookout. I might pop another video up at some point, kind of further organizing my cubes in my craft room. So at this point, you will see that I have a lot of these smaller stamp sets in somewhat piles. So these, I had a lot, like the majority of them were just tiny words. So a lot of those citrus twist ones, but I did try to kind of put them into other categories as I could. So I'm doing the same thing, just kind of jotting down little categories here. I have more of my dividers, and then I'm going to, again, just put them in order, alphabetical order, and kind of get them going here. And then we will have this one filled up as well. So loving the way that this is going, and I'm excited to be able to use them. So I'll kind of let you know as time goes on if this method works out, if I enjoy it, if I'm able to use my stamps more. Maybe we'll do a couple little challenges within Project Life or something where I actually pull out the stamps and try to use more stamps, something like that, so that I actually get use out of them. Some of these are brand new and have never even been used, and some haven't been used in years and years. So, and stamps are such a cool, versatile, thing to have in your stash. I know, like, instead of buying alpha stickers, having stamps, and I know they have 2 different looks, but alpha stickers, of course, you're very limited on the amount of times that you can use them. And with the stamps, you can do so many things. So I'm really happy to have them organized. So here's where I started to dive into my really big boy stamps, those huge ones that are like the size of just pieces of paper. And as I was going through those, I was finding a lot of smaller ones. So I have a lot of these smaller alphas and also numbers. So I wanted to add a numbers section here because I did not have that as one of my themes. And then I'm just further organizing these alpha stamps. So these were some that I had thrown into one of those drawer organizers in my craft room organizing video. So yeah, I had a lot of those. And then the majority of my really big stamps, that first container, I did that off camera. Those were mostly just alphas and numbers. And then I had a few other, mostly Ellie Studio, maybe a couple Citrus Twist, larger stamp sets as well. I didn't go through all of those simply because it was the same exact situation and I didn't have near as many themes as the smaller ones. So at this point, I also I used my tab punch and I punched out all of these little tabs off camera because everyone in my house, Will and the doggies, were nice and quiet. I did this video early in the morning, which honestly was a great activity for me to do early when everyone was asleep, and I got all of my stamps organized like before like 9 a.m., which felt awesome. But I didn't want the punch to make too much noise. My craft room is right next to our bedroom, so I'm usually trying to stay really quiet in the morning time. So I went outside actually onto our porch and sat out there for a few minutes, and I punched out like 50 of these little tabs. So then I would have plenty and I could come inside and work on them. So at this point, I believe I show you all of or a lot of my stamping. So we'll just kind of chit chat as I work through this. But I didn't want to cut too much out of the video because I wanted you to get the whole vibe of what's going on and be able to sit and organize with me for a little bit. But what I'm doing now, I thought, well, since these are my stamps, I might as well use smaller stamps to do all of my titles. So I knew that they would fit on these little tabs easily. So of course, these are those really old wooden stamps that I absolutely love. So they're going to get a little bit of a recycled upgrade at the end of the video as well. But so I'm just simply looking at my list of all of my themes for all of these different containers here, and then I'm stamping them on. So some of them have the same theme, so I would do it twice or 3 times, and then some of them have, their own specific theme depending on the stamps. So, and I love this paper. I had a couple sheets that were like scrap sheets, but that were pretty big scrap sheets. So I thought I'm just going to go ahead and use these. I think it's a Vicky Bouton paper, right? I'm pretty sure. And it is one of my favorites. So I was glad that I got to use up that scrap too, because I don't use scraps that often. But it felt good using this one since I really do love the pop of yellow that it gives. So happy about that as well. So here we're just going to stamp away, and I will continue to chit chat a little bit. So how have you guys been? We've been good around here. I had such a busy week, honestly doing a lot of crafty stuff, but it was all off camera because I have been working so hard to finish my best friend Casey's family album, which was from the end. I actually do her albums kind of interesting with the dates because whenever I started them with her first daughter's birthday, which is at the end of September. So that's where all of her albums start. So I'm a little behind on the albums just from everything that was going on at the end of last year. So this week I really was determined to get those albums done. So this one that I finished ran from September of 23 until the beginning of September of 24. So it feels really good. I got these 2 huge, beautiful 12 by 12 albums. They were just pocket pages with a few special photos blown up to 6 by 8, but no layouts. I've kind of been moving away from the 12 by 12 or any kind of really layouts myself anyways. And I wanted this one to go by pretty quickly because I was trying to get this one completed for her second daughter, Mickey's first birthday this weekend. So it felt really, really good to be able to give those to Casey. So I worked super hard over this week to get that done. I worked for 2 days. One of the days I came into the craft room at like 6 a.m. when I woke up. I worked until like probably 9:30 or so. Then I had like my morning with Will and everything until he went to work. And then in the afternoon, I worked again from the time he left at probably like 12 all the way. I even got my mom to doggy sit so that my puppies were happy and entertained and everything. And I completed it by like 5 o'clock that night. So I was working my tail off. So it felt really great to get all that done. But with all that said, I had a busy, crafty week, even though I wasn't really able to share a lot with you guys. So let me know how your past week has gone. Are you working on any big projects? Are you organizing anything? Like what is kind of going on in your crafty world right now? So here you can see that I have completed all of my tabs, and I'm simply just adding a little bit of adhesive, and then I'm sticking them on to the dividers that we already made. So here you can see this one. These are the ones that fit in there the nicest because they're the smallest of the stamp sets, but I'm going to do the same thing with all of them. So here I made this go a little bit slower. So this is just real time. I didn't speed it up at all, just so you could kind of see this without going super fast. But then you can see these. You can see that the tabs are a little bit hidden, but it works out good enough, And then I did the same thing with the biggest ones as well. And I'm really proud. It feels so good to have another little spot in my craft room completed, and I'm like, wow, why haven't I done this before? This is something that should have been done, honestly, years ago. And I know that I'm going to super benefit from having this completed. Here's my little upgrade. I had a Band-Aid box that I was saving because I thought it was so cute. So I put my wooden stamps into it, and I think it's a really adorable spot. It's way better than the old baggie that I was using. So that's it, guys. Here's my stuff on my shelves. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a like, and please also consider subscribing. And of course, I'll be back at you super soon with another one. So have an absolutely wonderful day, friends. And I will talk to you next time. Bye, y'all.